Morning, friends. Today we'll discuss the next important part of our syllabus, uh, that is transcription. So there are two things I want to discuss in today's lecture, that is transcription and the genetic code. In transcription, we are going to discuss about structure and role of mRNA, rRNA, tRNA, then transcription apparatus and mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes. So in this lecture, as this transcription mechanism is important part of process of protein synthesis, this transcription involves initially the synthesis and to know about the structure of mRNA, then structure of rRNA, then structure of tRNA, as well as the transcription apparatus, which consists important enzyme, that is RNA polymerase, and mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes. Similarly, the one more chapter, that is genetic code, we are going to discuss in today's lecture. So genetic code definition, concept, work of Nirenberg Khorana, properties of genetic code. So these things we are going to discuss in today's lecture. Now the transcription, in transcription we are going to discuss, as I mentioned, structure and role of mRNA, rRNA, tRNA, then transcription apparatus and mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes. The first thing in transcription, basically the transcription mechanism, whereas from the DNA the synthesis of RNAs is there, and that RNA synthesis is important process for the process of protein synthesis. So in transcription, from DNA RNA is synthesized. So all these RNAs, that is mRNA, rRNA and tRNA, which are synthesized through the process of transcription, and then there is translation process, where from using all these RNA as well as the ribosomes, the protein synthesis mechanism can be initiated. Now the mRNA, which is synthesized through this process, it has some important component that in the mRNA structure, we can observe there is the start codon, then coding sequences, then stop codon. So earlier we have discussed about the promoter region or the terminators region, and all these regions are here. So the cap is there, then UTR sequences are there, poly A tail is there, and the coding sequences. So initially the promoter region, which is before 35 sequences and before 10 minus 10 sequences, that is data box. So this is the promoter region. Then the start codon, that is AUG, is the start codon, then UAA, UAG are the stop codon, and in between the coding sequences are there, and these coding sequences are terminated with the help of poly A tail, that is continuous A residues, that is poly A residues, many A residues, and because of that the tail is formed, and this region is called as the terminator region. So in the mRNA structure, the promoter region is there, then start codons are there, stop codons are there, then coding sequences are there, and then poly A tail, that is terminator region, is there. The next structure, that is again I'll just discuss the mRNA structure. So 5' end, then 3' end, then promoter region, and all these regions. So start codon is AUG is the start codon, then there are some sequences like UAA, UGA and UAG are the stop codons, and all these are responsible for this initiation and termination of the process, whereas in the min part the coding sequences are there, and these coding sequences are responsible for synthesis of the RNA or structure of RNAs. Then the next one is the rRNA, that is ribosomal RNA. So in the structure of ribosomes, we have discussed that in the ribosomes there are number of RNAs are there, rRNAs there, and protein structures are there. So these rRNAs and proteins combine together to form the ribosomes. So these ribosomes are important for translation process, and rRNAs are responsible for the synthesis of ribosome. So in the another figure we can observe the number of blue colored protein molecules and the rRNAs. So rRNA and protein, they are combined together to form small ribosomal unit as well as large ribosomal units, and in total they form the ribosome. So this is the role of rRNA, and they are also synthesized by the process of transcription. And the third and important structure, that is tRNA. This structure is important because the tRNA, it is clover leaf like structure, and this is somewhat modified structure and it has some roles. So in the structure of tRNA we can observe the sequences are combined together and they forms a plus symbol like structure, or it is called as clover leaf like structure. Now in this clover leaf like structure there are four different arms, and these four arms are interconnected with each other, and the globose portion, that is these all are different regions, that is T C region, then D loop is there, then anticodon loop is there, and amino acid attachment site is there. So in the image we can observe at the top the amino acid attachment site is there. So at the 3' end the amino acid attachment site is there. So at that site the amino acids can attach, and the opposite to that there are anticodon region, and this anticodon region are helpful for binding with the mRNA strand. And the other loops are D loop and T C loop, because the pseudouridine is there on one loop and the dehydrouridine is one another important component, nitrogenous base is there, and because of that these two different regions are there. On the right we can say T C loop is there, and on the left the D loop is there. At the bottom the anticodon region is there, and at the top amino acid attachment site is there, and this amino acid attachment site is useful for binding the amino acid to that tRNA structure. So we are going to discuss the role of this tRNA in the next part, but before that just for mention, the tRNA has four different arms or four different loops: amino acid attachment site, anticodon region, D loop, and T-C loop. Now in the process of transcription, it is the process of synthesis of RNA by copying the strand of DNA. In transcription, only the selected portion of genome is copied. The enzyme involved in transcription is RNA polymerase. Now this is important enzyme, and this enzyme has with different factors. That is, it has two alpha regions, then one beta dash, one omega, and the sigma factor. So all these six important factors combine together to form the RNA polymerase enzyme. Now in this RNA polymerase we can find that in the image there is one core enzyme and the sigma factor. Now this core enzyme is with alpha 1, alpha 2, beta dash, and the sigma factor is attached with the core enzyme, then the enzyme becomes active, and in total they forms the holoenzyme or entire enzyme with all these five factors. And when the sigma factor attached with the RNA polymerase enzyme or these core enzymes, then the RNA polymerase becomes active and it starts the process of transcription. Now in the transcription mechanism, in the figure we can observe the transcription is nothing but from the DNA RNA are synthesized, and there are three important steps, that is initiation, elongation, and the termination. In initiation, the closed complex formation is there, then open complex formation, then tertiary complex formation, then elongation, and termination, it is row dependent and row independent termination. Now what happens on the DNA strand? The DNA strand has to be searched for the initiation region, and this is with the help of some initiation factor, that is IF1, IF2, IF3 likewise, and with the help of RNA polymerase enzyme, this RNA polymerase enzyme scans the DNA strand. It moves on the DNA strand and it identifies the initiation region where it forms a complex. It is called as closed complex. Now upon this closed complex, or after formation of this closed complex, these polymerase enzymes start the process of initiation of RNA, and with that it opens up the DNA strand, and from that region it starts the initiation of RNAs. Then elongation, where the elongation of RNA, where the nucleotide sequences are added to the RNA strand, and the termination process. Now, how it takes place? So, in the initiation, the promoter region is scanned by sigma factor and it attached to the promoter region, and from where it starts the process of transcription. Now, this core enzyme scans the DNA, and whenever it comes in contact with the promoter region, this core enzyme binds with the DNA and it forms a complex and it opens up the DNA. Now, how it opens up? So this is what is the opening of DNA complex, where the connection in between hydrogen bond in between the nitrogenous bases is breakdown and the DNA becomes open, and at that region the initiation may take place. After initiation, one by one, the nitrogenous bases like adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil, they attached to the sequence, and through that the RNA strand is synthesized. So this is where the elongation, in elongation, the new RNA strand is elongated by addition of several nucleotide sequences. So nucleotide being added to the 3' end of RNA, where the nitrogenous bases or nucleotide sequences are added to the RNA, initial RNA, and with the help of that nucleotide sequences, the RNA becomes elongated. And the third stage, that is termination. Now this termination, earlier we have also discussed this. Termination is either row dependent and row independent. Now in row independent termination, in a figure we can observe there are continuous GC region with because of that the G and C get binds and it lowers the activity of enzymes, and then it finds the poly A residues on the DNA strand, that is it requires poly uracil, many uracil residues, and as there are less uracil residues available for the process, the termination may take place, and this is row independent termination. On the other hand, row dependent termination, where the row proteins are active proteins and these row proteins connected on the DNA. So these row proteins attaches with the DNA strand and it scans the DNA for termination region. As the row proteins, they are attached to the DNA strand, and the RNA polymerase, the enzyme which is involved in the elongation process or initiation process, that RNA polymerase didn't get the available space for attachment to the DNA strand, and that is why the RNA get released from the DNA strand. So this is how the RNA, in the image we can observe the row dependent protein attaches with the DNA strand. It breaks or it restrict the entry of RNA polymerase on the DNA strand, and because of that RNA polymerase does not connected with the DNA strand, and that is why the RNA get released from the process. So this is what is the transcription process. Now the next important component, that is genetic code. On the RNA strand, we can observe there are several nucleotide sequences, and these nucleotide sequences are called as codes, and these codes are genetic codes. Now these sequences of nucleotides on deoxyribonucleoside, that is DNA, and ribonucleic acid, that is RNA, that determines the amino acid sequences of protein. Now these sequences are genetic codes as there are 4 different nitrogenous bases, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine. When these different nitrogenous bases connected or attaches with each other, they form 64 possible codons, that is maybe adenine, guanine, cytosine, then adenine, uracil, cytosine. Likewise, they form 64 different possible sequences. 61 of these are specified for amino acid sequences. So these 64 codons attaches with the amino acids. Then 62, that is AUG codon, and this is generally methionine, and this is called as initiation codon. So AUG codon is responsible for initiation of the process. Then methionine and tryptophan coded for just single codon, AUG and UGC respectively. The other 18 amino acids are coded by 2 to 6 codons that we are going to discuss later on, and UAA, UGA and UAG are the stop codons. So whenever UAA, UGA and USG like sequences are there, they terminate the process of translation, and AUG is the initiation codon where the process of translation may starts. Now in the picture we can observe all these possible sequences. So UCAG, then UCAG and UCAG combined together, and they forms different possible sequences of amino acids. Now UAA is for phenylalanine, then UAC is phenylalanine. Likewise, these two phenylalanine by UAA and UUC. Then for leucine there are 6 different coding sequences. Then isoleucine 3 sequences. Methionine, that is start codon or initiation codon, that is AUG. Then valine 4 sequences. Likewise, there are different 61 sequences which are for amino acids, and the 3, that is AUG, that start codon or initiation codon. Then in the third row we can observe stop codon UAA, UAG, and one more stop codon, that is UAC in the fourth sequence. So likewise, all these different genetic codons or genetic codes are responsible for different amino acids. Now this work of Nirenberg and Khurana is responsible for finding out the genetic code or different genetic codes responsible for different specific functions, and for that they perform some experiments. Now in the experiments they artificially synthesize all these nucleic acids, that is for example nucleotide sequence, a nucleotide of uracil, and they added all possible combinations for uracil in the cell-free system, and this UAA or UUU might code for phenylalanine. Likewise, the other experiment performed by Nirenberg Khurana, and they identified the stop codon. So this is how they perform. They artificially prepared the nitrogenous bases for different triplets or different sequences, and they identified the stop codon as well as the initiation codon. So for this work Nirenberg and Khurana received a Nobel Prize. Now the properties of genetic code. The genetic code is triplet. So as the 3 codons are responsible for one amino acid, the triplet codon, so codes are triplet. They are non-overlapping, that is they are continuous, and they are non-overlapping. We can observe in the image non-overlapping. So CAT is the first codon, first triplet, and CAT is the another sequence, and if it is overlapping then it will be CAT, TGA, ATC likewise, but they are non-overlapping. They are commaless, so in between they are continuously arranged, and there is no space or no comma in between. They are non-ambiguous. So as one AUG is responsible for methionine, wherever the AUG sequences are there, they are initiation codon, they are responsible for methionine. So there is no ambiguity, there is no confusion about the triplet. They have polarity. The code always reads from fixed direction, that is 5' to 3' direction. So they are polar. They are degenerate. That means they are one triplet may responsible for number of amino acids or number of different amino acids. For example, phenylalanine is represented by 2 triplets, then leucine is represented by 6 sequence. Likewise, they are degenerate, that is one not necessary that one triplet is responsible for one amino acid. Instead, number of other triplets or 6 triplets, more than up to 6 triplets are responsible for one amino acid. Likewise, only methionine AUG for methionine is the single codon, and UAA, UGA and AUG, UAG are the stop codons. So they are degenerative and they are universal. Whenever the triplet we can find, that triplet is responsible for same type of amino acids. So this is all for transcription and the genetic code. Thank you.